My name is Daniel Mercer. Currently I am 37 years old. I've lived in Stroudsburg my whole life. It's one of those small Pennsylvania towns where nothing ever really happens. Small population and neighbors who wave whether they know you or not. Halloween's always been a big deal here. People go all out with decorations, the kids run wild in costumes, and the local diner gives out free cider. It's harmless, or at least it used to be. Last year, I was working late at the auto shop, on the edge of town. I remember it was cold, colder than usual for October, and the wind had this sharp bite to it. I closed around 6:30, tossed my jacket on, and started walking home. I live in a small apartment above a hardware store on North 9th Street, just a few blocks away. The streets were full of kids, witches, zombies, superheroes, laughing, running, knocking on doors. It felt normal, familiar. But as I turned onto my street, I noticed something off. There was a man standing across from my building, not moving, not talking, just standing there. He was tall, maybe 6'3", wearing a long coat that looked too heavy for the season. In his hand he held a lantern, not a flashlight, a lantern, the kind you'd see in a museum. It was old, rusted, and the glass was cracked, but it was lit. That's what got me. It was burning. I slowed down, trying not to stare, but I couldn't help it. He wasn't part of the Halloween crowd. No costume, no candy bag, just watching. I crossed the street quickly and went up the stairs to my apartment. When I looked back, he was gone. I didn't think much of it at first. Maybe he was just some eccentric guy. Maybe he lived nearby. Maybe I was tired. But something about that lantern stuck with me. It didn't glow like fire. It flickered in this strange rhythmic way, like it was breathing. Around 9:00 p.m., my doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone, and I hadn't bought candy, so I figured I'd ignore it. But whoever was behind the door kept pressing the doorbell, each time more aggressive. I finally got up and opened the door, ready to tell some kid to knock it off. But there was no one there, just the lantern, sitting on my doorstep. I froze. I didn't touch it. I didn't even step outside. I just closed the door and locked it. I checked the windows. Nothing. No one. The street was quiet now. Too quiet. Then the power went out. I checked my DB. Everything was looking normal. I looked outside. Street lights were up normal. I was confused. Only the power in my apartment was out. And then I heard footsteps. Coming up the stairs. Slow, heavy, measured. I grabbed a wrench from my kitchen drawer and stood behind the door, heart pounding. The footsteps stopped right outside. I didn't breathe. I didn't move. And then, nothing. No knock, no voice, just silence. I waited for what felt like an hour before I finally opened the door. The lantern was gone. The hallway was empty. A few minutes later, the power came back on. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I asked around. No one saw the man. No one saw the lantern. My neighbor, Mrs. Halpin, said there was no power outage at her place, but I checked with the utility company. They said there was no report of any outage in our area. I started seeing the lantern more often after that. Not directly. Just glimpses, reflections in windows, flickers in alleyways. Once I saw it in the rearview mirror while driving. I turned around, and it was gone. I even found a burn mark on my doorstep one morning, like something had been left there overnight. I tried to ignore it. I stopped walking home. I changed my routine. I even started leaving work earlier, taking different routes, staying in well-lit areas. But the image of that man, the way he stood there, the way the lantern pulsed like it had a heartbeat, stayed with me. It went around for about 3 days, and I never saw him again. Not the man, not the lantern, not on Halloween, not on any other day. But I still think about it. Every year, when October rolls around, I find myself checking the street before I go inside. I leave the porch light on. I keep my curtains drawn. I don't answer the door after dark. I've told myself it was just a guy in costume, maybe a prank, maybe I was overtired, but I know what I saw, and I know how it felt. It's strange how one moment, just a few seconds, can change the way you live. I haven't seen him again, but I still feel like he saw me.